Yeah, so last time Sherlock got accused of yet another murder. This is possibly gonna be his second time getting thrown in jail in his route. And I still feel like we are very early on into Herlock's route. If I had seen it, a fresh blood stain. Damn it, Emily, why'd you have to point that out? Scotland Yard soon arrived at the scene, having received notice of the incident. If any of the other streamers that I follow would stream this game, I would not show up. Oh, that means a lot. That means a lot, Linux. Well, can't say I expected to find you here. Sergeant Ryan's eyes were wide open with genuine surprise.
特にホームズ君は学校以外は外出を制限されているはずなんです
Oh
が。
no, yeah. You were supposed to be under watch by the police and you escaped Herlock. Uh-oh. Particularly you, Holmes. You're not to leave home freely for anything other than school. So you being here presents, a problem. Oh, ain't no way he's not gonna get locked up after this. He could only shake his head.
いろいろ話を聞いたんですが。
I've been made aware of this situation. Listen here, Holmes.
これは
This was found clenched in the left hand of the victim. Might you be able to confirm if this is a button from your coat? Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yes, it is. I've also heard further testimony from the maid, Miss Carrie Front. I love maids, but man, this game makes me not want to trust in maids. I feel like this is gonna be like, what, 343? With the maids committing crimes in this game?
殺害されたアクトン氏の服用している胃薬を運ぶ途中で君とすれ違ったと言っていますが。
She tells me she walked past you leaving Mr. Acton's room when she was bringing him medication for it. It's poison! Woman and poisoning in Mysteria. Name a better comp. She poisoned the fucking medication. It's just like that one girl that was like in her bed, and that one girl like gave her not medication. She gave her like food, but still. Just like that case. And it made her sicker. Can you confirm this? Yo, are you winning, son? I don't know. I think Herlock's gonna get thrown in jail. But maybe him getting in jail will just make him fall in love with us out of, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it Stockholm Syndrome. But maybe it's kind of like a, you released me from being locked up, now I'm in love with you syndrome. Reverse? Reverse Stockholm Syndrome? I didn't know Seox has Ocarina Link voice. Wait, really? We're the women with giant swords, right? I wish this game had women with giant swords. Oh, hey there, Jackie. Welcome, welcome. That's correct, also. I was on the first floor landing at the time, soon after exiting his room. First, you managed to sneak away without alerting the police, and then you stir up trouble whilst here. This certainly doesn't bode more well. Give me a rest. Savior complex? I don't know, Stockholm Syndrome isn't a real thing anyhow. Wait, isn't it? Isn't it like a legitimate thing? Hold on a moment. Why are you so quick to assume this is Holmes' doing when you don't have any proof? What I missed so far? So we went to a party to investigate like the person that set up Herlock for like the like murder earlier in the route. And we went to this party. Herlock was in disguise and he snuck away from the police. And then someone got killed, and then one of the maids was like, it was Herlock, because he's got blood on his sleeve and the guy was gripping his button. I thought so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Stockholm Syndrome is like an actual thing.
いや、それが ちゃんと証拠もあ
Oh,
るん
it's
です
just
よ
a misconception that was born from a bank robbery where the police severely mishandled the situation? Eh? Well, I know it was spawned from like a hostage situation. Pardon. We do have proof. He said it with a disturbing degree of confidence. Like the terminology for it.
ホームズ君
The media got away with saying, oh, the hostages were just in love with the robbers. But, like, isn't it like a real, like, I don't know. It's like probably like PTSD induced or something similar to that. Has always been my assumption. Dude, you can Google it right now. Let me see. Stockholm Syndrome. It is a psychological... Oh wait, that's an AI overview. I'm not reading that. Stockholm Syndrome describes the psychological condition of a victim who identifies with and empathizes with their captor or abuser and their goals. Stockholm is rare according to one FBI study. The condition occurs in about 8% of hostage victims. That's from Britannica.science. Now let's check the WebMD. It isn't a psychological diagnosis. Instead, it's a way of understanding the emotional response some people have towards a captor or an abuser. Okay, so it's like not accepted as like an actual condition, but it's like a term to use to understand someone. Whether it's real or not, it's not stopping me from shipping toxic yaoi and yuri. True! It's a theory at best. Well, it seems like it's just kind of a term that's used to, like, explain certain behaviors. But it's not like, I diagnose you with Stockholm Syndrome. Holmes, you claimed earlier that you never touched the victim's body, nor the weapon used to end his life.
君の身につけているコートからまだ付着したばかりの血痕が検出されたんです
It's not something that can be proved. Well, I mean, it's not like a thing to prove. It's just like terminology. It's like something that's like a trauma response. Like a way to explain certain trauma responses. Like, I guess if you were to diagnose, like, anything, if someone were to have Stockholm Syndrome characteristics, it would be they are experiencing trauma. That directly contradicts the evidence. The blood on your coat is an alarming amount of proof alone. Thank you for your streams. Work break over. Oh, have a good day at work, Phoenix.
もし君が何もしていないならどうしてこんなものがつくんですか
If you're telling the truth on both counts, then how can you explain that?
僕はアクトン氏には一切触れていません。それだけは事実です。
I don't know, but the fact that I never touched Mr. Acton is the indisputable truth.
証拠が上がっているんですか
I'd
ら
like to believe you, but we're in this mess because it's disputable. Look, maybe my kidnapper just smells nice and has soft hands, and... yeah, I guess if you were just... Stockholm Syndrome is like what yandere is. It's like... I wouldn't say trope. That sounds weird to say. But it's like a descriptor. Holding me gently. I'd like to believe you, but we're in this mess because it's disputable. Stockholm Syndrome is real. Ooh. Yeah, you all have Stockholm Syndrome because you're watching my streams. I'm keeping you captive to watch my streams.
その血痕はアクトン氏を部屋に飾ってあった剣で刺した際に付着したもの
I mean, it's probably used more as a fictional trope than in real situations, yeah. As it stands, the most plausible explanation is that the blood soiled your coat when you stabbed the victim using a decorative sword in his room.
そして
Oh, he was
アクトン氏が
stabbed?
抵抗して
Okay,
コートを
that's
掴んだから
news.
引きちぎったボタンが彼の手に残った
I thought he died from poison,
So
as
考えるの
tends to
が妥当で
happen
しょ?
with women killers in this game. He naturally resisted and grabbed your coat, which explains how the torn off button was in his hand. Elio literally has a knife to the throat, but my boss says I gotta work. Yeah, I'll let you off this time, Phoenix. You gotta make a living, but if I don't catch you back here, there's gonna be some trouble. Gonna lock you up in that cage if you don't come back. Lock you in my gorilla cage filled with stuffed animals. But that simply can't be true. There must be another explanation. Won't you allow us to investigate the crime scene? We have Her Majesty's rings. You can't refuse us that.
すみませんがそれはできません
Forgive me, but there's nothing I can do. I don't know why my brain, like, you know how like your brain just like wanders off of one topic. You're like, okay, I'm done talking about Stockholm syndrome. Now I want to talk about fucking cosmic rays impacting a Mario 64 speedrun. Y'all hear about the cosmic rays shit? I noticed that it wasn't in the statistic manual of mental disorders, and people that managed to recreate it got shot down real quick. They don't need to be there. Well, it's not like a medical thing. It's just a way to explain stuff. Can't believe I, Ronald McDonald, have fallen in Stockholms with my yaoi napper solid snake Dakimakura. I mean, to be fair, I currently can't shut the fuck up about Cookie Yaoi, so I feel you. He shook his head again. He truly did not seem to take any pleasure in the situation.
これは重大な犯罪に関わることですし
Unfortunately, this is a crime that goes beyond allowing your freedoms.
ましてや今
Remind me about that. I want to hear about it later. Okay, I'll be sure to keep in mind to mention the Cosmic Ray Mario 64 speedrun later. Stockholm, the place, isn't real? Every time I read Stockholm, I think it says Stockton for a second. Holmes is already a suspect for a previous murder. As you're close with him, I couldn't possibly permit you to perform a formal investigation. Well, it's nice to see, like, detectives in one visual novel being like, hey, you're too personally close to this guy, you can't be conducting an investigation. There is an innate bias here. I sure wish another visual novel series would keep that in mind, especially if it's someone that has the power of the law, that is able to, like, pass someone a guilty or innocent verdict. Really interesting thing.
今現場に入れれば友人の罪を隠すために証拠隠滅の恐れもあります
Should I allow you on the scene now, you would be in a perfect position to destroy evidence that further points to his guilt. We cannot take that risk. That is true. That is true, Ryan. Real and true. You're cooking. You're cooking, Ryan. Best guy in this game, Ryan. Other than Kobayashi. Bye, Europe. I check under the bed for the British every night. I mean, it's not like a thing to scare you. Like, stop. Oh, wait. You're saying Europe? Yeah, Europe is a thing made to scare you, actually. Yeah, Europe isn't actually real. This game is set in like a made-up fictional country that they just invented one day. British people? No way. I mean, at least he's not the judge. Yeah, but they can still destroy evidence if they want to. Oh, this evidence makes my client look bad, who I am personally friends with. I should destroy this. You would never want us to cover up a crime for his sake, for anyone's sake.
すみませんが 今のこの状況では無理
Yeah,
です
like
よ。
we know that because of what was his name? Roy? Roy's our boy. It's not like Ryan's gonna know that. I really am sorry, but what you're asking just isn't possible.
さあ、下がってください。
Now please,
でないと
stand down, or I'll be
捜査妨
forced
害
to
であな
charge
た
you
たち
with
を逮捕します
obstructing our
よ。
investigation. God, I hate that Watson pose. Makes me wanna punch him in the gut. Why?
ほら、君たちもホームズ君たちを監視して。
Men, you'll need to keep a stern eye on all three of them. There's no longer any room for back answers. Vegeta pose.
はい、すみません。
Yes, sir. My apologies, sir. With no reason to be left at the scene, we were escorted away and kept under constant watch.
すみませんが、しばらくホームズ君を容疑者として私たちの監視下に置かせていただきます。
I'm afraid Holmes is to come with us as a suspect for the time being. Several officers had us surrounded on all sides. They were leaving us no chance to escape. He looks like he has the fire punch face while pledging his patriotism. Oh god, I need to look for that the next time he does that pose. If we don't do something, Holmes will continue to be treated as a murderer.
ここまで手が込んだ罠を張られるなんて実に光栄だ。
I'm honored by just how much effort our foes have put into ensnaring me. Speaking of Sherlock, Watson must hate me or something for all the shit talking I do of him, because the Sherlock Holmes collab is at Identity V right now, and I want Watson Victor, but I got Sherlock Orpheus instead for my free pulls. Sherlock Orpheus is the S tier costume. The likelihood of pulling that is so low. Help! Oh no. Yeah, well, hey. That just means if we get like an Arsene collab, you'll probably get Arsene. Shorpheus, my favorite persona. Suffering from success. If only you could sell like duplicates for like things to get the other skin. A cunning fellows, it seems.
問題は向こうがこれから
No,
どう
not
出て
you! We were talking about you, but that didn't mean you needed to show up, Sherlock. They could do that, Elio, but money. True. It's all about the money. Oh, hold on. I need to take a swig of my mango. The most pressing issue is learning the next move. Why are you here? Mr. Holmes, is that you? One of the police officers standing near us gave a very surprising response. You can't be impersonating a police officer, Sherlock. You can impersonate an old person all you want. But a police officer? He wasn't a simple officer, but Sherlock Holmes in a police uniform.
お前たち、もう少し声を落としたまえ。
Voice is down now.
自由に動けないとは言ったが、操作ができないとは言っていないぞ、私は。
I may not be able to act freely. That won't keep me from investigating what I'm able.
それで、そん
And
な
you
格
thought
好
it
で潜
wise
入
to
ですか。
infiltrate a police investigation in one of their
警官の制服なんて一体どこから
uniforms?
手に入れたんだ。
Or did you even manage to procure such a thing?
今は時間が惜しいんだ。
I got it
文句
from
な
the
ら後
jeweler
にしてくれよ
store.
ジュニア。
Let's not waste time with the unnecessary. Complaints and questions can come another day, Junior.
もう勝手にすればいいでし
Oh,
ょう。
do whatever you
事件
please.
の現場と
There's
来
no
てすぐ
keeping
に
you
飛びつく
from
ん
a
ですか。
crime scene, is there? He was derisive, but there was something to it, more the air than his face or words, that made him seem the tiniest bit relieved to have his father present. He is a pretty good detective. If only he were capable of expressing such things aloud. If only he could ask his father for help.
おじさん、
If only I could ask Dwarf for help.
すぐに俺たちに教えてください。
If you find anything out, please let us know directly. Watson certainly wasn't shy about it. No.
お前たちも注意しなさい。この屋敷にはアクトン氏を殺した者、スペルバウンドの関係者がまだ潜んでいる可能性がある。
I will. Now, you three take care. We cannot rule out that whoever's responsible for Mr. Acton's death is still in the mansion. With that last warning, Mr. Holmes left. Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Mr. Holmes left to inspect the crime scene. He raised not even an eyebrow of suspicion as he wandered inside. We don't want you here. Boo.
どうしてホームズのコートのボタンがアクトンさんの手の中にあったのかしら。
I'm baffled. How did one of your coat buttons end up in his hand? I'd do it, but you know I derailed too hard. I love you, Moggy. But yes, you are correct. we would just wind up progressing for like 5 minutes, cause you and me together in a room is like a limited derail works. Oh, okay, but no, don't leave.
ああ、僕も今それを考えていた。
I didn't mean you. I was just pondering the very same thing. Holmes mumbled whilst looking down at his coat, his thoughts swimming to find any sort of plausible explanation. Imagine us getting anything done. Couldn't be us.
僕が君たちの前で変装を解いた時はまだボタンはついていた。
When I revealed myself to you two, my button was intact. I'm certain of that.
犯人は一体どのタイミングで僕のボタンを奪ったのか。
Was it when that lady collapsed? I forget. Did Holmes like pick her up when the lady collapsed? That only leaves the culprit a short time to have taken it. But when?
それにあのキャリーというメイドの証言も気になる。
I'm concerned with the maid's testimony as well.
遺体を発見する
Which
前に
part? About her passing you when she was on her way to Mr. Acton's room?
そういえば
You're right. That doesn't make any sense.
どうして
How
そう思うの？
だって
After leaving the mansion,
ホームズは
Holmes had
その後
spoken to us for a time, right?
しばらく話していたのよ。私たちが
If she had gone straight into the room to find Mr. Acton, she could have screamed much earlier, around when we first met. That's because she was too busy setting up the crime scene.
もしあなたたち
Oh, are you... Watson, to understand a maid, we must become maids. Get in the outfit. Mrs. Hartley did not appear to be particularly alarmed by our presence. She approached us, her walking stick giving a dull tap, tap, tap each time it hit the ground.
ハーティリー夫人もう歩いても大丈
Oh,
夫なんです
thank you for the follow, Crimson Rose Shinobi. Very pretty name. I hope you enjoy it here. Are you in better health now, Mrs. Hartley? Watson. Oh shit. How do you pronounce her name again? Quinoa? Quinoa Hartley?
大丈夫よ。一言あなたたちにお礼が言いたかったの。さっきはお世話になったから。
I am, yes. I wish to come and thank you for helping me before. Quinoa?
アクトンさんとは親しい友人だったの。だからさっき
I don't know if I
は随
trust
分
you.
取り乱してしまったわ。
Your face is too high definition. There's something suspicious about that. You can't be having high definition faces in an anime game. Mr. Acton was a close friend of mine. That's why I lost my composure then. Yeah, it's rubber. It looks like you could just peel it off.
話し相手になってくれていたのに。
Like, I don't know, something about the coloration of her skin makes it feel unnatural. God willing, he was always there to lend me a kind word after I'd lost my husband. It hurts me deeply to know he's gone. Like, she's super pale. I don't know. I think she might be a robot. This is all a test from his father. Every person in this case is an actor hired by Sherlock. That's why he was here as a police officer.
お気を落と
I hope you'll find the strength to pull through.
パーティリー夫人、
May I ask a question,
お尋
ma'am?
ねしてもよろしいですか？
Certainly, murderer. What is it? Actor slash crack buddy. These are all people that just get together with Sherlock to smoke some
アクトン氏が
crack.
殺される前、あなたはパーティー会場でそのステッキを
Before
落とさ
Mr.
れましたか？
Acton's murder, your walking stick fell to the ground, did it not?
ええ
It
あなた
did.
に拾っ
And you
て
were
もらっ
most
たわ。
gracious to pick it up for me.
私
I make it my
人から
business
受
to
けた
never
親
forget
切は
acts of
忘れない
kindness
のよ。
others have bestowed upon me. Suspicious.
そうですか。
I see.
ではもう一つだけ
May I ask another
お聞
then?
きしてもよろしいですか？
何かしら。
What is it?
あなたはなぜご自分の正体を偽っているのですか？
Why the deceit? Who are you really? Take off that skin suit. Show us who you really are. You're a Scooby-Doo villain. What do you mean?
どういうことだ？見たところ普通のおばあさん。
I'm gonna shit my pants if it's someone wearing an actual skin suit. That's a strange question. She looks like an ordinary old young woman to me. God, I hope it's actually Sherlock. That would be so
ご主
funny.
人がいたというのに手には指輪もその後も何もない。
She claims to have had a husband, but I don't see any evidence that she ever wore a ring on her finger. Elio, don't shit your pants.
それにあなたのステッキを拾った時、僕はまだ変装をしていた。
And when I helped her, I was still in disguise.
それなのにさっきあなたに拾ってもらったと変装を見破った。
Despite that, you knew it was me when we met again. You saw through it when even she could not.
自ら変装する人間には他人の変装も見破りやすい。どこを見ればいいのか。
Wait, is this?
よくわか
I'm
ってい
gonna.
るからね。
Okay, wild theory crafting. If it's not Sherlock, wouldn't it be insanely funny if this is Lupin? Smoke and mirrors won't work against those who do the same. They know precisely where to look when unraveling deception. Wait, then. I shifted my eyes from Holmes to Mrs. Hartley, but as I did, she vanished out the first floor window. It happened so fast, only the three of us noticed.
追いかけるぞ。
After her. Disregarding our watch, we hurried to meet her at the garden. Ooh. I thought that's a fast granny. She's a turbo granny.
チェックメイトは夜明け前。
The garden was the only place Mrs. Hartley could have landed. The three of us started our search in a huff.
確かこの辺りに飛び降りたと思うんだけど。
I'm certain this is where she should be, but I don't see her anywhere.
しかし。
Oh, here's the pose. Yeah, he looks like an Attack on Titan character when he does this pose. I could go the rest of my life without seeing another old lady leap from a first floor window. God, yeah. As we continued to investigate the area, a familiar voice cooed in our ears.
残念だけど本物のハーティリー夫人は今頃
It was Lupin! Holy shit!
と一緒にね。
The real Miss Hartley is having a pleasant holiday in France, together with her husband, who I must note is very alive and in good health. Watch out, Watson. A blonde woman is gonna break your arm.
今頃パリで愛でも語らってるんじゃないかな。
Perhaps they're now twittering words of romance to one another in fair Paris.
この声はやっぱり
I should have known. It's him. I was right.
やはり君か。
Of course you would be here.
久しぶりだね。
Lupin was dressed up as an old lady. I'm so very honored to see you again. You're dessert for the eyes, Emily. Cute Emily years later as an old lady jumping out a window. As we returned, we were met with the beaming smile of this gentleman thief, who looked not the least apprehensive, being in the presence of 3 detectives. What cause there was for so wide a smile, we did not know. Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, Lupin! Yeah, yippee! Woo! Yeah! Roxas looking ass. Okay, so I guess our theory that Lupin is gonna be involved in Herlock's route is correct. What?
ルパン
What are you doing here, Lupin? Let's
お
go.
っと驚かせ
Forgive
てご
me,
め
it
ん
was not my intention to startle you.
でも
Please,
さすがは
permit me
ホームズ
to
君だ
commend.
マダムに対す
What
る
a
紳
true
士らしい
gentleman
振
you
る舞
are, Monsieur
僕の期
Holmes.
待以上だった
I
よ
was moved by your impeccable behavior towards Madame Hartley. The false one, as it were.
まった
If only I could
Action,
pay you
yeah.
the compliment in
く
turn.
君に全て
The
を
eavesdropping is not something a gentleman would do. You witnessed everything, then. If you're not cross-dressing as a disguise, are you really a phantom thief? Lupin, you should wear a maid outfit next. Do it. Were you the one who was pretending to be Mrs. Hartley?
まさか僕は美しいものを盗むだけさ
Oh.
まあ僕だったら結婚
Okay,
指輪
so
の件で
Lupin
手を
was
抜くことは
not the
しな
old
いから
lady. Certainly not. For one, the thefts are limited to works of beauty. And for two, I am not an idiot. I would not have slipped on something as trivial as a missing wedding ring. Yo, does that mean he was the maid then?
こんな時によく言えたものだな
He could disguise as Watson, and I would not be able to tell the difference. You speak very highly of yourself for a simple thief.
夫人に変装していた男はここさホームズ君見覚えがあるだろう
And the true identity of your Madame Hartley is this chap here. I trust you recognize him. With a certain drama to the reveal, Lupin dragged the unconscious body of the culprit out from some nearby bushes. He seemed to know where the disguise ended and the face began, as he had no trouble tearing it away to reveal what was underneath. So it was a skin suit!
あこの男はスペルバウンドの
I can't believe we picked up on that. I do. He's from Spellbound. Next, you should dress up as a maid.
ホ
Lupin.
ームズに
I already did. Did you not notice? He's just that good.
こんなところに潜り込んでいたなんて
It's that man in black who framed you, Holmes. To think we would find him here.
スペルバウンドはアクトンの金を狙っていた本人と金の話で揉めていたなら強引な手を使ったとしても納得がいく
Spellbound was after Mr. Acton for but one reason: money. Should we assume his murder was an argument regarding funds, the pieces fall well into place.
だがルパン
That does not explain why
Those
you're
people.
here, Lupin.
ああ僕もスペルバウン
I
ドを追
follow
っていてね
Spellbound closely myself,
彼
you
らと
see.
はちょっと
I'm
因
no
縁があるん
stranger
だ
to their activities,
詳しいことは
though
教
the
えられないけ
details
ど
of our relationship are to remain with me.
変装までして現場に
Now,
駆
I
けつけ
should
た
think suspicions
Daichi
may now be
Hakkenshaが
cast
窓から
upon this
逃げようと
brute
したん
in
だ
disguise. It is difficult to overlook fleeing from a window, is it not?
これで君にかけられた
The
容疑も
public may now be
軽く
more
なるかもね
inclined to believe your innocence. Lupin, still radiant, must have found the affair amusing, as a smile never once faded. In contrast, Holmes was stiff and serious.
ルパン厄介な
What
組
has
織を
inspired you
関
to
わっている
dance with so dangerous an organization, Lupin?
余計なお世話だっ
That is no
て
business of yours.
それより君た
With
ちに一
that,
つだ
let
け
us
教えてあげ
dismiss
るよ
prying for secrets. I have something far more pressing that needs to be said.
僕がこうして姿を
The
現
reason
した
I've
目
shown
的は
myself is to give you a
君
warning,
に警告すること
Monsieur
さ
Holmes.
ホームズ君
警告
A warning.
そう
That's
お
right.
となしくスコッ
Stay
トラン
put
ドヤー
within
ド
the
で
safe
父親
confined
の
to
助けを待
Scotland
ちなさい
Yard
って
and wait for your papa to extend his hand. Do not attempt to solve this alone. Alright, I'm gonna solve it alone then. Don't tell me what to do, especially bringing up my dad.
でなければ君は皆の前に醜態を晒す羽目になるこれは助言だよ
I failed to heed me, and this will end in great humiliation for you in front of everyone you hold dear. Well, surprise for you, Lupin, I have a humiliation kink. I'm doing it even more now.
待って。あなたどこまで知っているの？
Wait, how much do you know, Lupin? Pfft, of course I won't solve it alone. I have Watson over here.
ごめん。君
He
に
can
涙
use his
ながらにお
one
願いされて
brain
も
cell
それは
occasionally.
秘密だ。
My princess. I cannot tell you, no matter how your tears might captivate me.
もう
Hush!
流
I
してないわ。
wouldn't cry for you. I'm sure you will in our route. Holmes was growing visibly irritated with every word, and as he held me back from my flaring temper, he glared at Lupin.
からかうのも大概にしたまえ、ルパン。君の助言など僕には必要ない。
I'm not interested in your games, nor do I need your advice.
僕を陥れようとする奴らを暴いてみせる。
I will expose the criminals who thought to frame me, and nothing you or anyone else says will change my mind.
そう。それは残念だな。
Is that right? What a shame.
君がその正論をどこまで振りかざせるか。
I suppose we'll see if you still feel that way in due time.
父親も巻き込まれたらどこまで平気でい
You'll
ら
have
れ
all
るか。
sorts of fascinating
Limon.
thoughts racing through your mind once your papa is tangled into this web. I wonder if you will be as calm then as you are now.
何？
What?
君たちは近いうちに僕に
Mark
会
my
いに来る。
words, you'll be paid me a
その
visit
時には
before long.
今日よりずっ
And
と
when you
僕を
do,
楽し
I
ませ
shall
てくれる
expect
と
you to bring me
期
far
待して
more
いるよ。
entertainment than you have today. I expect you to be making sloppy makeouts with me soon enough, Herlock.
待ちたまえ
Wait!
ホームズ君そんなところで何をしているんですか
Holmes, what are you doing down there? We heard the sergeant shouting from above and looked up to see his head floating from the late Mr. Acton's window.
もう監視をつけたはずなのに肝心の監視役の警官はどこに行ったんだまったく
The deuce? Where did that officer charged with watching you go? Oh, he's my dad, don't worry about it. Sergeant Ryan seemed to take no notice of the blonde amongst our number, and the reason why came to me quickly. Lupin was gone, and now we have a guy that's like passed out in a bush. That's definitely gonna do nothing but make Herlock look even better. As was... Oh, I guess the man in black is gone too. I thought he was passed out! Did Lupin take the guy's body?
あれルパンのやついつの間に消えたんだ
Huh? When did Lupin disappear? He was just here.
本当だわ。もしかして黒服の男もルパンが連れ去ったの？
And the man! Goodness, could Lupin have taken him? He didn't seem to notice the blonde among our numbers. Wow, I guess Watson is just that irrelevant. And Emily! Emily's blonde too!
まさか俺たちが気を取られてる隙に
I guess Watson is more of a brunette, but Emily's definitely a blonde. I can only think he fled when we were distracted, but we weren't distracted for that long. Oh my god, that takes me back to in your room, where we just let like a murderer just get away because we were making sloppy makeouts. Remember that, Watson?
彼はまた何か仕掛けてくる。
Whatever the answer, it won't be the last we'll see of him.
父親が巻き込ま
What
れる。
web was he referring to with Holmes's father?
どういう意味かしら。
It persisted in my thoughts. The confidence in which he spoke rang unmistakably, as if he knew what was going to happen to both father and son. It took no time at all for us to be placed under watch once again. With no opportunity to investigate the crime scene, crucial as it was, we were escorted to our homes. And Holmes went to his home.
ルパンは一体スペルバウンドとどういう関係なの？
I can't understand it. In what way could a man like Lupin be connected to Spellbound?
あの含んだ言い方。
He made it sound like he was planning to do something to Holmes. Do something,
それ
hmm?
は昨日の事件のことですか？
Is this about yesterday? Pendleton was partly occupied clearing away the tea set from breakfast when he asked the question.
ええ。
Yes,
実は昨日
we encountered Lupin again at the crime scene yesterday, you see.
しかし怪盗ル
Is
パンの
suddenly
神
proving
出
to be a
鬼
man
没
of many surprises.
美しいものを手に
Quite
入れるため
amusing
な
in
ら
itself,
どこにでも
since his
出
flair
没す
for
るのでは
surprise appearances is not entirely surprising in its own sense.
確かにその通りだわ。
Quite,
今朝の朝刊に
and
も
funny we
ルパ
should
ンが
mention
現れた
him.
みたいね。
There he is in the paper. I picked it up and began to read aloud.
怪盗ルパンより
Gentleman thief Lupin extends notice to dearest
信用なる
detective
探偵
HH.
一
Oh,
日へ捧ぐ
oh, this is a calling card. He's gonna steal Herlock's heart? What a curious headline, I mused. With piqued interest, my eyes glided down to the meat of the story.
探偵 HH
H8 stands for Herlock Holmes, doesn't it?
これって
I'm astonished Lupin would
エ
send
ドロッ
something
ク
so
ホームズってこと
provocative.
よね。
I mean, that's just how Lupin is, baby.
こんな挑発的な予告状を送ってくるなんて。
お嬢様
I
くれ
ask
ぐ
that
れ
you
も
not try
軽
anything
率な振
rash,
る
my
舞いは
lady.
慎んでくださいませ。
ペンデルトン
I feel you're too quick with your warnings compared to how you used to be. He has to be with you, Emily.
まあ止めても無駄ですし釘を刺すことぐらいしかできませんから。
Well, I don't believe I've had any success in stopping you until now, so warning you is the most I can manage. Like Lupin the Third, my goat. I like to imagine that, like, Pendleton just experiences all of the routes when you play through them. So he's like, yeah, I didn't stop you that time with Watson, didn't stop you that time with Akechi, even when I shot him with a gun, there's no stopping you. You're hopeless. And who's that you're gonna play next? A criminal? You're gonna play a criminal's route next, Emily? Yeah, there's no saving you. Oh, and now I feel guilty.
でもこのタイミングで名指しの予告状なんて。
Still, this notice is suspicious when paired with yesterday's events. Might it be a trap? As I sat with paper in hand musing over the affair, Alicia entered.
失礼いたしますお嬢様。お客様がお見えです。
Forgive me, my lady. You have a visitor.
待って、まだ朝よ。こんな時間に急に訪ねてくるなんて。
Do I? Whom? We weren't expecting anyone, and it's so early in the morning for a sudden visit.
ええ、お嬢様はお食事中なのでお待ちいただけるようお願いしたのですが。
Is it gonna be Lupin? I would agree. I did ask if they would wait whilst you finished your breakfast, but, She hanged her head apologetically, and as though on cue, Watson came bursting through the door with all the energy of one far too awake for this time of day.
朝早くにごめん。
Emily, sorry for barging in so early.
ワトソン、そんなに慌てて何があったの？
Watson, what has you so flustered? Did something happen?
ああ、おじさんが。
It's Holmes's dad. He's been taken away by Scotland Yard. Does that mean we don't have to talk to Sherlock for, like, the rest of the route? Yippee!
ホームズさんが？
Mr. Holmes has been arrested?
連中、おじさんは
For
昨日の
yesterday's
殺人
murder.
事件の犯
They
人
now
として
suspect
逮捕
he's
した
the
らしいんだ。
culprit. Truly, the news was a better dosage of morning caffeine than any tea. I needed no further convincing to accompany Watson to Baker Street. There the two of us waited for Holmes's return. Pendleton, yeah, there's no saving you. Now, Emily, turn around and look across the lake, cock's gun, and tell me about your dreams and the future you wish to have.
おい、ホームズ。
Yeah, he might as well just take Emily out himself. Well, did you talk to him? They found the crack pipe at the scene of the crime. Only relatives were permitted to see those under arrest by Scotland Yard, and so we were left with no other options but to rely on Holmes for information.
まあそれほど長いはできなかったが。
I did. Not for long, but long enough.
ヤードの話だとアクトン邸のメイドキャリーフロントの遺体が昨
Oh,
晩
the maid's
屋敷
dead.
の使用人部屋で発見されたらしい。
Rumor has it that Mr. Acton's maid, Carrie Front, was murdered in the servants' quarters of the mansion last night. Oh, damn. Ripped to a bad bitch. If she's even dead. Another murder?
キャリーってホームズを犯人扱いして
Maid's
た
dead?
メイドだよね
Scrap the root. Failed timeline. So true. Damn. I've been enjoying this. This feels like an actual detective, like, visual novel. We got intrigue, setups, murders. The very maid who pointed the finger at you at that. I'm enjoying Herlock's route so far. And we haven't had any, like, gross mischaracterizations of Herlock to make him fit into a romance game. I like that.
ああ、口にした
Because
紅茶
I
を
was
青酸カ
firmly
リが混入してい
expecting
たら
him
しい。
to get very grossly mischaracterized very early on so that he could fall in love with Emily. Indeed. They're determined the cause of death to be cyanide mixed into a cup of tea. Another poison. Give it up for how many times have people died in this fucking visual novel to poison? Another poison. That's like 3 or 4. I wonder how I should murder this person. Like literally every person that murders someone in this game. Poison! Imagine if Herlock was your first route. That would have been so funny. I'd be like, God, does everyone just get poisoned all the time in this series? Yeah, all the food. Yeah, if I'm in Mysteria, I'm dying. But I'm not dying from poison. I'm dying from starvation. I'm not eating anything these motherfuckers give me. Indeed. They determined the cause of death to be cyanide mixed into a cup of tea she had been drinking. First a stabbing and now poison. And where does your dad fit into this? To be fair, it's easier to get away with poison than to shoot someone with a gun. That's true. Scotland Yard was apparently informed of his slinking about the crime scene, learned to cook. I wouldn't be surprised if just the base ingredients of things grown in Britain have poison baked into them. The work of someone connected to Spellbound, no doubt. Is that why people say that British food sucks? Because it's literally poison?
ホームズの変装を見破るくらいだから
Pendleton lacing his bullets with poison. If they were able to see through your disguise, it stands to reason they could see through his, too.
父さんが
Leon's
キャリーフロント
current
と協
theory
力
is
して
that he and
アクトン
Miss
氏を
Front
殺害
worked
し
in concert
彼
to
女を
murder
口封
Mr.
じに殺した
Acton.
と
Then he
考えてい
killed
たら
her
しい。
so she wouldn't become a liability in the future. Cask of Amontillado ass motherfucker.
付着した血痕もボタンも警
And they
察を欺
pointed
く
to
た
the
めに父
blood
さ
on
んが
my
用意し
coat
た
and my missing button as evidence father attempted to lead them astray. No, it's just baked beans and eels and bastardized curries.
そんなめちゃくちゃな
The beans got poison baked into them. If their theory were any more of a joke, I might burst into laughter.
父さんは研究のために
A
青
point
酸
in
カ
its
リを所
favor
持
is
して
that he did have
それ
cyanide.
がさらに
Why the
話を
fuck
や
are
やこし
you
くして
carrying cyanide? Sherlock! He did have cyanide on his person. He keeps it for research purposes, of course. But this isn't enough to wipe. Why are you carrying? Do you not carry cyanide? Bro! What is wrong with you? Sherlock actually did the crime. I'm starting to think you might be correct.
You've fallen right into my trap. First, you walk through my bar, filled with poison. Then you walk through the vents here, filled with poison. And now, I will fill this room with poison.
So true. So true. I'm just like imagining Sherlock walking around with cyanide and they're like, why are you carrying that? You planning to murder someone? And he's like, no, I'm simply planning to ingest it for research purposes to see to like work up my resistance to poison when someone tries to poison me. You know how it is in Britain. I told him time and time again this could happen if he didn't start treating such things with more care. Yeah, for real. Oh no, guy got shot with gun is dead. We suspect guy with gun walking around right now of being shooter. Oh no. Holmes folded his arms into his chest as if to restrain his growing vexation. Once calm, he began again.
僕と父さんが推理した事件の概要はこうだ。
We've since constructed a different theory altogether.
この事件の
The
主犯は
patron deity
メイド
of
のキャリー・フロン
England,
ト、
Poisonac,
そして
Queen of
その協力者。
Poisons. We concluded that the main culprit is Miss Front, though she did not act alone.
ハーティリー夫人に変装したあの
So I was right, it was the maid. The false Miss Hartley worked with her, I assume. I keep telling you, don't trust women in this
キャリー・フロン
game.
トは殺されたアクト
I
ン氏とは
continue to be
愛人
proven
関係だったそう
correct.
だ。
You assume correctly. We've also found evidence pointing to Miss Front and Mr. Acton being What is with maids and being like the secret lovers of like people in this game too? This is like what? The third time?
しかし突然解雇を言い渡され、
I mean, I get it. I would have a secret tryst with a maid too, but yeah, would you not have a maid as a secret lover? If correct, I would have a maid as a secret lover. Well, actually, no, I'm not keeping her a secret. I'm proud. I am proud to have a maid as my lover. If I have a maid as my lover, I'm announcing that to the world. Look at my wife. Look at my lovely wife. Were lovers, rather. She was dismissed and told abruptly that she was to leave the mansion next month. Yeah, but the maid wants to
監
hide
視の
it.
結果、彼女は妊娠していたそうだ。
I'm too much of a pathetic man to not have to say how you raised her up. Her autopsy revealed she was with child. Answer, please, 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 please.
そんなことするなんて最低じゃないか。
That was why she had to leave? How could anyone with a bloody heart do that?
なんだかやりきれないわね。
I don't know, but what an ugly thought it is.
組織に資金面でアクトン氏に協力を求めていたのはモラン大佐だ。
Colonel Morin was the one who wished to extract financial support from Mr. Acton for the organization.
彼はアクトン氏をキャリーの支援を利用して始末しようとしたんだ。
This would be a golden chance to eliminate him using Miss Front's personal grudge. The Colonel's name stood out in a lingering sort of fashion. I had never heard the name until that foggy evening, and now its utterance seemed to bombard me with an increasing frequency.
さて、僕がアクトン氏の部屋を出たのを見計らい、キャリー・フロントは部屋へと向かった。
She had waited until I left the room before making her way there.
いつも彼が食後に服用する胃薬
Ostensibly,
を
to bring him the
睡眠
stomach
薬とすり替え
medicine
て
he always takes after meals. In reality, she exchanged it with something to put him to sleep.
彼女は眠りに落ちたアクトン氏を部屋に飾られていた件で殺害。
It was only after the medicine had taken effect that Miss Front used the ornamental sword in the room to end his life.
その後、彼女は変装した黒服の男と合流。悲鳴を上げて遺体を発見した体を装った。
She then concluded the ordeal by meeting with the man in black and letting out a scream, bringing us to the scene.
では彼女があの場でホームズを犯人だと言ったのはみんなの目を
Then
この男から
she only claimed you were the culprit to divert everyone's attention from the man in black?
その通りだ、ミス・ホワイトリー。
Precisely, Miss Whiteley.
ハーテリー夫人がアクトンの死に動揺していた時の様子を覚えているか？
Do either of you recall what the false Mrs. Hartley did whilst still in shock over Mr. Acton's murder?
ああ、
Yes,
確か
she was consoled by you, wasn't she? And then she wiped off her blood and snuck a
あれがクラフト
Snuck a
の男
button.
だったと思うとなんか気持ち悪いけど。
It now seems very out of place given his true identity.
それを言うな、バトソン
Thank
君。
you not to remind me, Watson.
思い返すと虫
The
唾が
memory
走る。
not alone is enough to send me into a spell.
夫人になりすました
But
男は
that is
その
neither
時に
here nor there.
僕のコートのボ
That
タンを
very
返し
moment allowed
そ
him
し
to
て
take my
血
button
痕を僕の
and
衣
set the
服に
blood to my
付着
coat
さ
in
せた。
secrecy.
その後キャリーフロントが
Miss
皆
Front
の
then
注意を
proceeded
引
to
きつけ
draw
ている
all
隙に
attention to her,
遺体の
granting
左
her
手に
accomplice
握ら
enough
せた。
time to place the button in the corpse's left hand.
そうやって僕の
So,
ボタンと
there
血
you
痕
are.
2つの物的証
Entirely
拠を現
plausible
場に残した。
explanation for both pieces of evidence found at the scene.
でも
How on earth did you figure out the two of them were working together? Well, they were together earlier.
彼女と階段です
When I
れ違った
passed
時
around
の
the
僕は
stairs, I was still
ま
in
だ変装を解いて
disguise.
いなかった。しかし
Now,
彼女は
recall
変装
how
を
I
解
was
いた
dressed after
僕
the
を
murder.
犯人だと
I had
見抜
already
きました
revealed myself to you, yes?
周囲から僕を疑わせ
She
るた
should
め
not
に
have been aware that my two
変装を
faces
見
were
破
one
る
and
こ
the
とのできる
same.
協力者が
But she
そう
was.
させた。
And all because her co-conspirator, who knew something of trickery, had enlightened her.
待って
If I understand
それ
rightly,
ならどうして
you noticed this contradiction the moment you were
そう言
accused.
わなかったの
Why didn't you say anything before?
どこに協力者が潜んでいるか
Because I did not yet
わからなか
know
った。
where and who the co-conspirators were.
犯人たちの思惑通りに進ませて様子を見たんだ。協力者を突き止めるためにもね。
I thought it best to let their scheme proceed as planned and observe for evidence along the way. A worthwhile decision, it would appear.
だからって黙ったままでいられるなんて俺だったら絶対反論するのに
I don't know how you kept your head on the way you did. I can't say I would have done the same. His actions were indeed worthy of applause, and I would have been quick to remark as much had one more question not come to mind. I looked to Holmes after a pause.
キャリーフロントを毒殺したの
But then, who killed Carrie Front?
スペルバウンド
Oh,
と
thank you
関わ
for
り
the
がある
hydrate.
って言ってた
I just ran out of my mango
まさか
soda, so I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab some royal milk tea because I feel like that's on brand for this game. Be right back. I'll put up a BRB screen. I'm back. I got my tea. Ooh. Boiled milk? Oh, it's just tea. Part of me was afraid he was talking about a soda. No. It's just royal milk tea. It's like black tea with like 25% milk. It's like a very tiny can of tea that I really like. Okay, here we go. Lupin mentioned that he was connected to Spellbound, but you don't think he would do such a thing, do you? I don't know. They are kind of arch enemies. So let me drink my tea. And stretch a little bit. Oh, hey, Zerwin! Hello! Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. Lupin mentioned that he was connected to Spellbound, but you don't think he would. Oh, I already read.
それも考えたが
Possibility did cross my mind, but no. He's not the type of man who would commit murder. It's more likely someone else from within the ranks. Like Jack the Ripper. And whilst we were agreed on the circumstances which took place, my 3 minutes allotted for a visit ended before we could discuss it in more detail. Hope you had a good day. Yee! It's been a pretty good day. I'm happy to be back to streaming. I'm really happy to be back to streaming. You have no idea. You discussed this in 3 minutes?
普段の不毛な口
3 minutes of substance from the man that does substance abuse. Sure is a lot. 3 minutes of substance for the man content to argue for 10 minutes straight over nothing at all. May I ask if he was in good health? I'm happy to have you back streaming. Aww. I'm happy you're back too. Thank you. Missed you guys so much. Streaming really does make me happy to continue through my days. So I'm glad to be back.
まあ相変わらずさ
If good health means the same, then yes. He has a machine with a mind for his investigations and nothing more. Well, thank you for the head pats, Crystal.
自分があんな目に遭ってるって
One hopes upon meeting him that he would be disconcerted with his new accommodations. But he instead expressed concern for my own well-being. Holmes. That's supposed to be what dads do, Holmes. I know your dad kinda sucks ass and he's a crack addict, but I guess he's not that bad of a dad after all. His father being in a cell had slowly begun to haunt him externally. Stressed lips were pressed thin, otherwise bright eyes now hung half-lidded. His color was very grim for even simple fatigue.
でもどうする
Is there nothing we can do? You're still under watch, Holmes. I know your dad's been arrested. Trying out Spellbound through Mr. Acton is no longer an option for obvious reasons. Are we really so spent on clues? Silence. This is not just Holmes's response, but mine and Watson's as well. And yet, in time, Holmes unfolded his arms and expressed a plan. Man, I can't take those ears away after Crystal got you that fit. Oh, she gonna make me cold. I'm fine taking your jacket away. Damn, it's a little cold in here all of a sudden.
ルパンから直接聞き出す
We're gonna have Lupin tell us what he knows. Our destination was the Tower of London. The three of us paid no mind to the officers assigned to Holmes as we discussed the notice sent by Lupin. Oh. Now the jacket fights begin! Ear fight era over. Jacket fight era begin.
予告状によると
This is something.
ルパンが狙っているのはダイヤモンドのブローチカリーナ7世
Lupin's target is a brooch with a cut from the South African Cullinan diamond. Cullinan the 7th.
南アフリカで発見された
I can fight for both. I got a karaoke refund. Okay, back to lurk. Enjoy your lurk, Crystal. I suppose it was only a matter of time before he was lured by the world's largest diamond.
偉大なアフリカの星と呼ばれる世界最大のダイヤカリーナ1世は女王陛下の王爵に使われている
Cullinan 1, or the Great Star of Africa, is set into Her Majesty's royal scepter. 2 to 4 are all set into crowns used by the royal family, I believe.
そしてロンドン塔にはカリーナ5世から9世が展示されている。いずれも国宝級のダイヤモンドだが。
Meanwhile, Kalinan 5 to Kalinan 9 are exhibited in the Tower of London. They're all national treasures in their own right. Still. Of much more concern in the immediate term was Lupin's notice, proudly presented on the front page as if he were no wanted criminal. It stated,
怪盗ルパンよりこの予告状を親愛なる探偵 HH へ捧ぐ。
Gentleman Thief Lupin extends notice to dearest Detective HH.
明日の夜9時、ロンドン島展示。ダイヤモンドの貴婦人カリーナ7世のブローチをいただく。
Tomorrow night, when the clock strikes 9, I shall seduce the Queen of Diamonds, Kalinan the 7th, and escort her away from the Tower of London's expedition. Yeah. Watson and I had prepared ourselves for the event without delay, but Holmes had other ideas. Yippee! Lupin! Woohoo! Yeah! I'm glad that Lupin is involved in Herlock's route. Because I remember we were saying, we were like, it would be sad if Lupin wasn't involved, because they're like rivals. Watson and I had prepared ourselves for the event without delay, but Holmes had other ideas.
この予告状は明らかに僕を挑発している。この事件は僕と父さんの問題だ。
Lupin's notice is solely meant to taunt me. This entire case is effectively a mess of mine and my father's.
Miss Whiteley.
Time to rewatch Casa of Cagliostro again. I want to watch Saint Tail now. That has nothing to do with you, Miss Whiteley. You should return home at once. No, I won't be going anywhere but with you. Holmes is not prepared for any sort of objection. His eyes widened for a brief moment. As it truly was brief, he resumed his frown before continuing. I've admitted to your moments of brilliance in certain times.
Miss Whiteley.
But it baffles me why you would be so determined to involve yourself in this particular case. It's because I cast my eyes downwards. Deep down, I had my answer. Surely you're clever enough to know why, Holmes. Oh, are we the pursuer for his route? I wish to help you, of course. Perhaps it was due to the impending danger, but he seemed less than appreciative to have my hand. He expressed dislike, even.
Miss Whiteley,
Miss Whiteley, I'm left wondering if you fully understand the gravity of what lies ahead. Lupin specified me and only me. His invitation all but states that this is a trap to make my predicament worse than it already has become. Danger notwithstanding, I've been backed into a corner into which there is but one means to escape. Accept his invitation and uncover the truth. Should you refuse to stop now, there's every chance you could be left in the same position as me and father. I know, I really do. But this case means something to you, doesn't it? I can't go home and pretend it means nothing. I reached for Holmes's arm. I hadn't meant to get in his way. I was not so optimistic to believe such a small act would hold him back. And yet, if Holmes's future ended the way I feared so sincerely, there would be no turning back time. I was standing in this moment, daring to take the risk, with odds stacked higher than I could see. And yet, it was worth it. If I could save him, then any risk was worth it. Do what you like. It's alright? It is, on the condition that you stay close to me. He turned on his heel and faced ahead. Oh, thank you, Holmes. Like, again, this is another good example of, like, progressing their relationship in, like, and understandable, like, for the characters motivation-wise, unlike with Watson's route. Holmes is very obviously, like, not down for it, but he's just like, oh god, whatever. rather have you by my side than have more complications arise from you, like, sticking your head in it where I can't see you. Which sounds very Holmes-y. There's no need for you to thank me. Though, I should hope you'll become sick with all the thanks I'll be given upon our return. Are you... I couldn't find the words. Was he grateful I chose to stay? His turned back gave me no particular hints to his true feelings. We must make haste. Grade A tsundere. Alright. Pendleton looking at Holmes and Emily. Finally, I can pass my burden on to him. Wait! Basically, he's starting to accept his inevitable role as Emily's keeper and going, well, I guess she's my idiot now. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I thought it was gonna be another case of, like, Emily being, like, a damsel in distress, or, like, Emily suddenly, like, being really smart in his route, and her, like, being like, oh my god, she's so amazing and cool. But this is a bit more realistic, considering Emily's characterization. Holmes was a curt man. He had been since the day we met, and so it was nothing new to me, which is why I found it unusual to suddenly find it pleasant. I guess I'm into people talking shit about me. Whether he could overcome this unfortunate predicament now hinged entirely on our meeting with Lupin. Oh, don't worry. Plenty of time for Emily to be the damsel in distress. Oh, I'm sure it'll happen. My confidence renewed, I did away with frivolities and mentally adjusted focus back to the mission at hand. There was work to be done. The more routes we get into, the more I'm like, god, this game would have improved 10 times more if they just swapped Watson with Marple as a dateable option. For real! That evening, the Tower of London was filled with guards from end to end. They better do like a sequel to this game and make Marple dateable, so help me God. Kobayashi too. They're likely here for Lupin, I surmised as I observed the scene. He would not have an easy time stealing the diamond with this much security. Marple is a whole ass protagonist with her own book stories. They had so much material. Yeah, they didn't do nothing with her source material. It makes like no sense. We were well aware of the many tasks to watch over Holmes. He was still a suspect for murder.
Holmes Jr.
She only helped with like one case. And here you are, Holmes Jr.
自宅監禁中のはずだが、君は家でおとなしくしていられないのかね。
You haven't taken to house arrest as well as most. Staying in one place that damn difficult for you. Inspector Lestrade's voice carried a sternness that bordered on discomforting to hear. Oh, whoops.
僕への監視はそのままで構いません。今夜のロンドン島の警備に僕らを加えていただけないでしょうか。
I won't ask you to rescind your orders, but I should like to humbly request you permit us to assist in guarding the Tower of London tonight. Yeah, and it was in the freaking common room. Yeah, I think it was like what? The like second case, like past like the introductory case.
君はすでに2件の殺人事件の容疑者だ。
A suspect for 2 murders asking to play officer.
君を我々に同行させるのは常識的にありえないことだぞ。
I would have to be mad to accept.
ですが、父が巻き込まれた
Not perhaps, but I have my suspicions that the murders at Mr. Acton's mansion, the murder I was framed for, and tonight's event are connected by a thread. Listen here, I'm not smitten with the idea of you two being murderers. I don't want to believe it, but I am who I am. I have a duty to uphold as an inspector. Yeah, it was about the friend poisoning our client over a boy, and we're like, what? Yeah, that one.
裏で動いている組織と関わりがある。
There's evidence Lupin is connected to a criminal organization. The very thief's testimony, in fact.
僕はどうしても
In light of this, I have something I must ask him.
確かに
While I concede that it is unusual, he would name you in his notice.
お願いします。
Please, Inspector.
自分の名前を
He
出された以
did
上
name me, as you said,
僕の挑戦を
and I'm here
受
to
けて
accept
くだ
his
さいんです
challenge.
しかしな
I understand that, but still.
なぜですか？やっぱり
Why are you
僕
so
が容疑
opposed?
者だからですか？
Because I'm still a suspect. Inspector Lestrade fell into deep thought. He only faced Holmes again once, ready to respond.
ホームズ・ジュニア
You
君の
don't
その
speak
覚
of
悟
this
は
lightly now,
決し
do
て
you?
いい加減なものではないな
はい。
Correct.
君のその
Can you
指輪に
swear
誓え
that
るか
on Her Majesty's ring?
当然です。
Absolutely.
我々に
And if
指
I
輪を
were to
預
tell
け
you
ろ
to
と言
hand
わ
it
れて
over
る
for
か
the time being, you would?
それで
If that is what it would take to persuade you, then yes.
構いません。
There's so many reasons why he shouldn't let Holmes be here, but the plot gotta happen, I guess.
ホームズ
But that's proof that your abilities were recognized.
認められた証なのに
分かったいいだろう
Very well then. Give it. Holmes handed the ring to the inspector without pause.
いいんですか警部。一歩間違えたら首じゃ済まないですよ。
Have you thought this over through, Inspector? If this turns out for the worse, you could lose more than your job.
我々のルパン逮捕の勇姿を見に来た学生を冷たく追い払うわけにはいかんだろう
Were you not aware? They came to witness the day we threw that dastardly thief in handcuffs once and for all. Can't very well turn them away in good conscience, can we?
レストレード警部ありがとうございます
Thank you very much, Mr. Lestrade.
君たちへの監視は外さないそこは承知してくれ
Remember, I've accepted your help, but you are still to remain under police watch. I can't compromise on that.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. The thanks carried a special quiet intonation beneath it, which did not go unnoticed. Inspector Lestrade, satisfied, turned and departed to continue preparing for the evening ahead elsewhere. With the looming threat of the gentleman thief nearing, he seemed worn thin by the sheer amount of security that was to be arranged under his direction.
ホームズ
That is delightful news, isn't it?
これ
Now
で
you can accept
ルパンの
Lupin's
挑戦を受
challenge.
けられるわね
あ、
Indeed.
しかしルパンは強敵だ。ギリギリの勝負になるかもしれない。
He is a reputable devil of a man, however. I cannot afford to take my victory for granted.
君も絶対に
That goes
ル
for
パン
you
から
as
目を
well.
離さないでくれ
You
たまえ。
must never take your eyes off of him once he
I
appears.
understand.
Oh, I can guarantee I won't be getting my eyes off of him. He's a pretty boy.
分かっているわ
Of course, I won't. And the way in which he said that was very soft, kind. If Lupin sneaks in disguised as Holmes, that inspector deserves to be fired. Oh god, he might do that. I would happily keep my eyes on him at all times. And I took to that kindness well, nodding firmly in turn. Were anything in this plan to go wrong, the nation would likely view Holmes with more contempt than they did now. But that was why I was here, swearing with all my heart that such a thing would never come. I truly believed in him, and I wanted my support to be his sword in battle. I guess you should have called it catchy then. The sun continued its gradual descent below the horizon, until which 9 p.m., the time Lupin specified, was soon upon us. On the uppermost floor of the tower was a most gorgeous display, and the diamond brooch he laid claimed to rest it in security. Scotland Yard, ever frustrated with the elusive nature of the evening's antagonist, was determined to ensure that every speck of dust was being accounted for. It was to be assured that not even a mouse could find its way in. Police officers were nearly packed shoulder to shoulder. It was a strange sight to see.
いいか油断しないでくれよ
Stay
ルパン
very
の犯行予
alert.
告まで
We have
あと
only
40
90
分だ
minutes left. Or 40, whoops. Even
分
less.
かっているわ。それにしてもワトソンどこまで食事に行ったのかしら。
I know. Still, just where did Watson go to get something to eat? He's been gone for ages now.
まあ今日はほとんど何も食べてなかったらしいから仕方ないさ
But he did say he'd barely eaten all day. He must be famished. Holmes gave a gentle sigh in the cold night air. It wasn't long ago when Watson left the vicinity to see if he would find some dinner, or something to nibble on at the very least. That left me and Holmes alone, awaiting his return. Oh my god, we're alone? With
やっぱり日が沈
Holmes?
むと一気に寒くなるわね。
It's become much too cold, much too fast once the sun is down. Are we gonna get all Icha Icha while Lupin steals the jewelry? Though I still required a coat during the day, I missed what little warmth the sun provided in the waking hours. I wonder if what I said about Watson and Lupin looking alike will pay off. So piercing was this particular night that I thought I might freeze to my bones if I stayed idle for long. As the tickle of cold became a prickle, I began to rub my hands together in hopes for a modest heat.
なんだか寒くて手が冷たくなってきたわ。ホームズは平気なのかしら。
They feel as though they've turned to ice. I wonder how Holmes is faring. I glanced over in his direction. On closer inspection, his body had a striking rigidness to it. I turned my gaze away and back to my hands. They were on the verge of becoming numb.
ミス・ホワイトリー
ホームズ
He's rather stiff.
なんだか
Could it be the cold?
少しこわばって
Or
る
is
わ
he
ね。
anxious for Lupin's arrival? He's debating on whether to rizz you up.
それともルパンの挑戦を前に緊張
That's why he got all stiff.
ミス・ホワイトリ
あれ
Did someone call for me?
呼ばれたような。
Emily. He did not say that in Japanese. He did not say Emily in Japanese. He just went, Hold on. Yeah, he... oh! You've never called me by my name before. Wait, huh? She definitely said, Watashi no namae wa...
ミス・ホワイトリ
Huh? The change was so unexpected that I looked to him again. Huh. I guess that's a mistake in Japanese. Okay. Oh, this is new music. I don't think I've ever heard this song before. The change was so unexpected that I looked to him again.
呼んでない
Rare Japanese L. Gasp. Oh my god. Yes. Well, I never...
エルロック
It was all I could think to do. Perhaps feeling uncharacteristically meek, he made an effort to observe anything other than me until I said his name. Our eyes met and then they parted.
名前で呼ばれるの
Perhaps he thinks me unladylike for calling to him.
寒いのか
Are you
仕方が
cold,
ないな
you
君は
hopeless thing? With a click of his tongue, he removed his gloves and held them out to me. Oh my god, it's the Black Silence!
ミス・ホワイトリーこれを
Where are these, Miss Whiteley?
これは手袋
Goodness! But those are yours! Are you certain? Let's play Roland's theme.
寒いんだろ。
Cute Gone Angels by Millie. You are cold, yes? These ought to help. Yeah, he doesn't even normally wear these gloves. Okay. Holmes is Roland, confirmed. Emily is Angelica?
そうしたらホームズが
But what about you?
寒さには温室育ちの君よりずっと慣れている。何か意見は？
Olive, I should think it natural you're a bit more delicate with your upbringing. Is that not so?
ありません。
Quite possibly.
ならさっさと使いたまえ。
Then wear the gloves. If Emily doesn't die a piano-related death in this timeline, what is the goddamn point? Fucking like Jack just crashes into her with a piano. Oh my god, the piano man. Hold on. Sorry, game. I need to mute this wonderful new music that we're hearing. Oh wait. Here. Better way to do this. Turn off BGM. There we go.
Very well. Thank you, Holmes. You really are so sweet at times like these. Of course, they weren't anywhere near a perfect fit. My fingers would perform like a bungling mess if I were to try and do anything while swearing them. But they did well to protect me. It was only moments later that I could already feel the life returning to my fingers.
Oh! CG! He kind of looks like he's like, what is wrong with her?
It's like being in a cozy blanket. それに、これをはめていると、私もホームズみたいな名推理ができそうな気がするわ。I have now a cleaner mind to think up all manner of brilliant crime-solving theories, just like you. As I recalled, Holmes never once let the weather dictate his investigations. It could be a blizzard outside, but he would press on until satisfied.
推理が気分で左右されるなんて無責任な探偵だな、君は。
All this spirit over a pair of gloves. I've never met a detective so fickle. He should be fit to solve crimes at all hours and in all weathers, I say. Yeah, but this lets me use atelier logic, Holmes. You fool.
That isn't what I meant.
I can use Furgatorio, you idiot.
He may not be able to resist a dose of cunning with his commentary, but he did call me a detective. It's acceptance in its own sense.
どうしたんだ？ニヤニヤ笑って気味が悪い。
That's quite the grin. Puts the fear of God into me.
Oh, hush, and stop behaving like a schoolyard bully.
Hold on. We actually get the gloves. Hold on. Mods, play Gone Angels. Gotta put this on. If we can actually see the gloves.
Clumsy as the action was with his oversized gloves, I firmly grasped his hand and collected them between mine.
おい、何をするんだ？
What are you doing?
I'm sharing my warmth. Now we're both saved from the cold.
いきなり意気込んで何を言うかと思えば。
One moment you chastise me, the next you're set to take my hands.
まったく計り知れないな。
You may be the most unpredictable person I've ever met. Oh, cute.
Holmes did not appear to be pleased with this revelation of his, only slightly puffing his lips out to sulk. Even when the moment called for charity, He preferred not to be caught off guard.
ホームズ、
ダディダデデデドゥドゥダディダ
あなたの
ダデデドゥ。
頭脳には及ばないけど、せめてあなたの手足になれるよう頑張るわ。
I know my intellect cannot quite compare to yours, Holmes, but you should know I would do anything to help you. Whatever I can, I shall do it. I gave one of his hands a tighter squeeze to further express my willing support. Now I want to see a fucking edit of fucking Emily with fucking Roland's mask.
せいぜい手かせ足かせにはならないようにしてくれたまえ。
Just do your best not to get under my feet instead. I will happily do that, actually.
This moment is either ruined or elevated with the Ruina angst. Both. Both is good.
My conversation was interrupted by a sudden voice calling from afar.
おい、ホームズ。
I found some! Holmes! Emily!
Watson approached with restored vim, most likely from the sandwiches he carried wrapped in wax paper.
Okay, well, good timing. Watson came to be a cuck. Got in the way. Okay, back to the in-game music. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Twy. God damn it, Watson. Oh, thank you for taking a moment. Watson, here's both the cuck and the block.
I couldn't resist taking a bite out of one, I see.
見てくれよ。
Look here, I brought tea and sandwiches. Hudson gave them to me.
瓶に入れて
Is the tea in this
布で
flask
くるんであ
wrapped
る
in
よ
cloth?
紅茶か。
あ、
Yeah, it's not quite as warm as it was, but she said it should be enough to keep most of the heat in. It was all very kind of her.
さすがハドソン。いいお嫁さんになれるわ。
As always, she'll make a wonderful wife for a good man one day. Or a woman, I'll marry her. We three were equally gratified by the offerings and were quick to partake. Watson noticed what I was wearing between bites.
Is that the black silence? Hold on, aren't those your gloves, Holmes? Linux, do you know the expression is cock block, not cuck block?
Ah.
Indeed, they are. Charming.
なんだその目は。
Is there any reason you feel the need to stare?
いや。
Oh no, there's no reason. I was only thinking that you can be kind on occasion.
余計なことは言わなく
Have
て
you
いい
ever thought to pause and consider if something is worth saying before saying it? Oh, he's blushing. Yeah, he cock-blocked Holmes and he is a cuck.
Once we finished and our bellies were satisfied, we retired to the tower's ground floor.
失礼します、ホームズさん。
Excuse me, sir. I wanted it to rhyme, Twy.
あら、あなた。確か前にベーカー街でホームズの見張りをしていた人よね。すごく寒そうにしてた
Oh, hello again. We first met on Baker Street when you were assigned to guard Holmes, didn't we? I remember thinking you looked rather cold.
What?
あ、
Oh,
あの
yes.
時はどうも。
I'm surprised you remembered.
彼、ギャ
His
レ
name
ット
is
さんがベーカー
Garrett.
街の区域を
He's
担当して
stationed
いる
along the
から
Baker Street area,
持ち回
which
りで
means he often is assigned to watch over me.
ホームズさん、先ほどレストレード警
Inspector
部があ
Lestrade
なたを
was
探し
looking
てい
for
ました
you,
よ。
sir.
案内します。どうぞこちらへ。
If it's all right by you, I'd like to escort you to him.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. When we arrived, Inspector Lestrade was in the midst of encouraging his men with a grand speech.
いいか、関係者にも
Don't
油断
let
す
your
るんじゃない
guard
ぞ。
down tonight.
ルパンは
Not
一
for your
体
fellow
誰に変装してい
officers,
るの
not
か。
for me. There's no telling who Lupin will impersonate.
レストレード警部、ホームズさんをお連れしました
He。wants to bet Garrett is Lupin. He's got blonde hair. Inspector Lestrade, I've brought Holmes to see you, sir.
ああ、すまないな。ギャ
I'm
レット
good. I'm in your debt, Garrett.
いえ、警部殿
No,
のお
sir.
役に立
It's
てるのな
always a
ら
pleasure
私
to
は
assist.
喜んで。
Garrett cut himself short with a start. Mr. Holmes?
どうしたんだ？ホームズ
What's
ジュニア。
wrong? Why
ギャ
did
レ
you
ットの
grab
腕なん
Garrett?
か掴んで。
Am I right? It's fucking Garrett. Why did you grab Garrett's arm?
彼がギャレットさん？
You're very much mistaken, Inspector. I did no such thing.
ギャレットさんはとても律儀で礼儀
Oh,
正しい人でした。
I was right. I'm so smart. The Garrett I know is an exceptionally well-mannered, conscientious young man.
僕に要件がある時もこちらの話が済むのを待ってから話しかけるほど。
Whenever he has business with me, he always waits for me to finish any conversation I may be having before engaging me himself.
何が言いたいんです？
I was thinking his voice sounds very familiar, like it sounds a lot like Lupin too. Pardon, but what seems to be the issue here?
ギャレットさんは上司の話を遮ってまで声をかけようとする人物ではないんですよ。
You made no qualms interrupting the inspector to report that you had escorted me.
それにそもそも僕のことをさん付けでは呼ばない。
Garrett, I should say, would never do such a thing. Not to me, and never to a superior.
彼に双子で警官の兄弟でもいれば話は別だがな。
Might you be his identical twin? Hmm?
そうですか。
Well then. He did not answer. A well-bedewed temple set a droplet flowing to the edge of his nose, the only proof of racked nerves from an otherwise composed man. As the drop fell to his bottom lip and clinged, he sneered. Huh?
ギャレットさん
What's that in his hand?
何か持ってる？
それはすまなかったね。ホームズ君。
You'll have to forgive me then, detective. Garrett threw an object to the ground with a burst of motion.
なんだこの煙。
Where'd the smoke come from? Suddenly, the air around us was filled with white smoke, clouding our field of vision entirely. And it was not just the immediate vicinity that had become clouded, but the entire ground floor. We could hear the distant cries of officers panicking from all around.
ホームズ大丈夫？
Holmes, are you alright? I cannot see him, so I could only shout in hopes he would know it was me.
あ、大したことない。
Yes, nothing's wrong.
でもどこにいるの？
What a relief. Where are you?
ここだ。僕の手を取れ。ほら。
Follow my voice. Take my hand. Hurry. The background music is too loud. I can't hear you. Though I reached through the white gloom, I did not find him. I continued to sweep through until I felt my left hand being seized and pulled within.
ホームズ？
彼の後を追うぞ。ミス・ホワイトリー。
We're going after him. With me, Miss Whiteley. Alright. I was dragged along, the jerked force nearly causing me to trip over myself a number of times.
ワトソン、僕はルパンを追
Watson,
うから。
take care of the situation here. We're going after Lupin. Wait a second. Holmes! I fled the scene blind doubly so for me, since Holmes tugged at my arm, with our destination being the first floor. Our field of vision only became clear upon ascending the staircase.
すごい煙だったけど。
That smoke was terribly thick. What was it?
あれは
It's a smoke screen created using a titanium oxide pigment.
以前ルパンは
Lupin has made use of one at least once before, getting a valuable gemstone in the process.
待って。
Oh no!
それじゃあ
Then that was Lupin!
このまま
We
最
need to
上階
step up the pace to the top floor.
ルパンは
He's
そこに
surely
向かう
well
は
on
ず
his way. I'm right behind you! And thus we continued. I can finally see again. That Lupin's a bastard of a man.
撃たれたな。
Watson, now able to see, surveyed his surroundings for a short time before being disturbed by a rushed voice.
大変だ。
We have an emergency!
最上階の展
Well, I
示ケース
can't
の
find
鍵
the
が
key
ない
to the display case anywhere.
かすで取られて
Lupin must have taken
お前
it.
たち
Men,
最上階へ
to
急
top
ぐぞ
floor as fast as your legs can take you.
はい
Yes, sir. Lupin had managed to outwit the police once more.
俺も二人を
I
追い
should
かけなき
follow
ゃ
after them. And as he went to pursue Emily and Holmes, he spotted one of the very people he was sure had already left. Holmes, whose breathing was weak and uneven. Holmes? What are you doing here? Oh! There's two Holmes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's Lupin. Oh, no! Holmes continued to lead the way until we reached our destination. Wait, are we with Lupin?
ここが一番上の階ね。
I'm finally here.
大丈夫か、ミス・ホワイトリー。君の腕を無理に引いてすまない。痛くなかったか？
Are you well, Miss Whiteley? Forgive me for pulling you along so quickly. I wasn't too rough, was I? You sound a bit too caring for my situation, Holmes. This doesn't sound like you. That would be funny if this really is Lupin and Emily's like, you're not being a douchebag to me. You're not, Holmes. Damn, we were so banking on Watson Lupin instead of Holmes Lupin.
No, I'm perfectly well. Thank you.
ホームズ。気のせいかしら。
Oh, she picked up on it.
いつもより
He's not being a douchebag to me. What's wrong with him? Am I being too sensitive? He's being unnaturally kind. He would have said something misogynistic right now if he was his usual self.
I mean, it was my first guess.
それより
We shan't dally a moment longer. Now, where could Lupin be hiding?
My eyes were drawn to the transparent cabinet where colonnon 5 to colonnon 9 were displayed. It was a line of stunning sparkle and shimmer. My eyes grew wider from awe to absorb the sight. So,
これが
this here
カ
is
リーナ7世。
Kalinan the 7th. Kalinan the 7th was a delicate marquise-cut diamond set into a fine brooch. Light refracted and dispersed with a clarity that was a privilege to witness up close. The room itself also seemed to hold a sacred, colorful glow, due wholly to its guests. That one inspector deserves to be fired now.
このケースの鍵は
Inspector Lestrade should still be in possession of the key,
ルパンには
so as long as it's locked, Lupin cannot open it.
彼は一体どこに
So, where could he be?
ミス・ホワイトリー。
Holmes took my hand once more.
どうしたの
What is it, Holmes?
今回の事件で
This case has been an enlightening experience in many ways for me.
今まで自分がい
It
かに
made
怒
me
って
see
い
my
たのか
arrogance as one who would see themselves in the mirror,
父さんにはかな
as
わ
well
ない
as that I'm a mere child who cannot live up to his father's name.
What?
だが
Through
君は
all
そん
my
な僕を見捨てる
insecurities
こと
and
なく
ignorance, you never once
ここま
left
でつい
me.
てきてくれた
You stayed with me. Even now, you stand right here with me. This is not you, Holmes. You would be talking shit about your
僕は
dad.
標的だ僕が
Lupin is not a man who would
君をまた
relinquish
危険
victory
に
to
巻
me
き込んで
without
し
a
まうか
fight.
もしれない
My loss could be around the corner. You may very well find yourself in danger again. He's trying to get her to leave so he can steal it.
それでも君は僕を
Knowing
信じて
that, will you still trust
一緒
me?
についてきてくれるか
I'm not sure how to respond. Yeah, this isn't like you.
どうしたのホームズ。
This isn't like you, Holmes. I should have trusted my instincts sooner. I knew something was amiss from the very beginning.
ホームズはそんなことは言わないわ。
Holmes would never say something like that.
自分を分析するこ
He
と
is
は
fully capable of analyzing his strengths and weaknesses, but he would never speak so poorly of himself. Never.
絶対
He
に言わない
speaks too highly of himself and lowly of everyone else around him. I pulled my hand away with force.
僕だってたまには
Even
感傷
I
的
can
な
be
ことを
overcome
口
with
にしたく
emotion
な
from
る
time to time.
特に
I
君
feel
の前で
especially so when
Miss
around you, Miss Whiteley. No, Holmes would never speak of loss before the battle has started. He isn't that kind of man. You haven't said I'm a chunky wrench that quakes the earth with every step at all, so you can't be Holmes. So true. He's a true man. He's a man true to reason. He's always confident, always perceptive, always an asshole. He lectures me to the extent I may walk away sulking.
Miss Whiteley, 君は僕のことを一体何だと思っているんだ?
Just what is this picture you've conjured in that confounded brain of yours? Honestly, Holmes Root canonized the I'm into fat bitches. Down with the queen. Ooh, nice CG. Holmes is currently standing at the entrance and leaning on Watson for support. Blomp sound effect, Watson. He looks like a sopping wet cat, Watson. He looks like someone just like stole his favorite like snack. The deuce? Why are there two of you?
ずいぶん早い到着だね。あと15分くらいは気絶したままだと思ったんだけどな。
That was disappointingly quick. I expected you to be knocked out another 15 minutes or so. Thinking about this old ass by now. Let me see. I heard that you were talking shit.
An
extraordinary man to block the card I threw with all that smoke. I applaud you, Monsieur Holmes. Although by the looks of it, you failed to achieve a clean getaway. Let's see now. You tried to block it, and it grazed your hand. Spot on. If you're gonna babble freely, do it with your own face. I can see it working. You're doing your damnedest to pretend otherwise, but you cannot hide it from me. You're a truly unpleasant man. The Holmes supported by Watson struggled for breath. To my side, Holmes smiled gaily. To Watson's side, Holmes smiled even more gaily, in a homosexual sense. Battled through his poor physical state to manage a dark scowl. You can have this back! The weaker of the two made considerable effort to toss something at his twin. Well, aren't we the sweet boy?
No, Lupin?
There's this Final Fantasy-ass music. What was thrown turned out to be a joker from a pack of playing cards. Lupin caught it deftly between his fingers. Did he use the smoke to disguise himself?
さて、カリーナ7世はいただいたよ。噂通り
Shin
の美しい
Kisuke?
大粒のダイヤモンドだ。
Oh, and since I have an audience, Cullinan the Seventh is mine. The rumors of her beauty were true. Lupin admired the brooch carelessly, spinning it about as if it were some child's toy before placing it in his pocket.
ホームズ君、カード
The
に仕込ん
drug's
だしびれ
paralytic
薬、
effect
少
hasn't
しは
worn
効
off
いているよう
yet,
だ
I
ね。
see. What drug?
あんまり強がって見
Not
苦し
to
い
know when to
姿
call
を
it
晒す
quits
のは
instead of
いただき
exposing
な
your
がら
dignity to everyone like this.
支えてもらわなけ
Can you
れば
even stand
立
without
っているのも
assistance?
辛いんじゃないの？
Oh, but since you clearly did request it, I should think not. Lupin stood fully upright and smug, the very image of vanity obtained from victory. At the opposite end, Holmes seemed as if he would buckle if left on his own. His shoulders shuddered with disturbing urgency. Here, Holmes, take these black gloves you gave me. You'll gain more power. You can defeat him. How could you do this to him, Lupin?
おっと、そんな怖い顔すると、せっかくの可憐さが台無しだよ。
Mon Dieu, your face is ever so lovely, Emily. I would ask that you not dress it with that dreadful glare.
君にとって僕が追いかけてくるのは予想の範囲内だろう。
I should think my arrival was well within the realm of your expectations.
まあね、そうでなければ面白くない。
It was. This wouldn't be half as fun for me if I weren't holding all the cards.
彼女がいなくてそんなに焦ったのかい、ホームズ君。
What inspired you to rush here with so much pluck, my dear Holmes? The diamond, or was it Emily? My dear Holmes, that's kinda gay, Lupin. Every word from your mouth makes my blood boil. I love Yaoi.
逃げ場はないぞ、ルパン。
There's nowhere to run now, Lupin. From seemingly nowhere, police officers began to flood the room.
そうだな。さすがの僕もこれは少し骨が折れそうだ。ここは彼らの助けを借りるとするよ。
I suppose your ranks are very fine and large, Inspector, and I would be a fool to resist were I alone. But alas, you will soon notice that I am not. He put his fingers into his mouth and whistled. A bird? The next moment, a crowd of black shadows shattered the large window and overwhelmed the room like a dark cloud.
うわ、なんだこれは。
What the devil?
カラス。
He's called ravens. Indeed, he had. An entire flock of them had come at Lupin's behest. They behaved as a loyal army would against the officers, swirling and diving and creating all the immediate chaos and destruction of a cyclone. What are you doing? Leave my hat alone. It's called a murder. It's the Tower of London's ravens.
その通り。
Actually,
鳥の翼も狼の牙も全てが美しい武器となる。
I can turn the wings of birds and the fangs of wolves into beautiful weapons if I so will it.
飼育担当のレイブンマスターになりすまして彼らを
Acting the
調教
part
す
of
る
the
のは意
Raven
外
Master
と
and
簡単だっ
bewitching
たよ
them proved less difficult than planned.
やめろ。
Get away from me! Holmes tried to fight back as best he could, but the ravens' attacks with their beaks and talons were ceaseless, and he was not well. It took a great effort on his part to avoid them. Oh, thank you for the head pat, Spoon God 69.
ああ、気をつけてくれ。今の彼らは空腹で
I
ものすごく
advise you
気
to
が立
pay
っているから
close
ね。
attention to how you treat them. They're simply ravenous at the moment, and that makes them irritable. I see what you're doing there, Lupin. Nice little pun there.
それに彼らはアー
Ravenous.
サー王の化身と言い伝えのある大切なカラスだ。
And I need not remind you of the legends that King Arthur's spirit dwells within their bosoms. Play nice, won't you? I am the one who pats. You are.
警部殿、このカラスども
Inspector,
撃ち落とす
I must
許可を。
request permission to shoot these bit.
バカ者。
Then why'd you lose? These ravens are cared by the crown.
撃ち殺したら始
Even
末書だ
one
けで
is
は
shot
済まされ
and
ん
be
ぞ。
held to pay for all of us.
そうそう。
Is
カラスは
absolutely
英国を
right.
守る鳥
These
だから
ravens
ね。
protect the country.
彼らを
Should
傷
they
つければ
fall,
イ
the
ギリス
crown
が
and
滅び
Britain
る。
will fall with them.
丁
You
重
must
にお
treat
相
them
手
with
してよ。
due respect.
At this rate, he's gonna get away before we can get anything out of him. We can't hurt them, but there must be some way to get them to leave. Ooh, what to do?
そうだわ。
Aha! Of course, I thought with delight. I remembered the hand glass I always kept with me. I took it, opened it, and pointed the light it reflected in the direction of the ravens.
ごめんなさい。
Forgive me. This is the only way. Be good and go back outside. They immediately took to the light and swarmed after it, as if competing to reach it first.
ホームズ。
Holmes, get Lupin! Right. Holmes had been crouched over slightly, but at my signal, he charged. Lupin managed to dodge Holmes's blow by pivoting his foot, but only just.
ホームズ君。
I thought the
まだ
paralysis
しびれ
hadn't
が
worn
残ってる
off.
んじゃないのか。
だったらどうした？
So what if it hasn't?
ここまで動けるとは予
Well,
想して
you
いな
shouldn't
か
have
った
been
が。
able to move so well yet.
それに僕は
I can't say I'm, well, particularly fond of close-range bouts like this either. Not my expertise. This is the guy whose route you want to play? Yes! John paralyzes people? Lupin's natural nimbleness allowed him to dodge any oncoming assault, but it was clear he could not do so forever. Holmes would become the victor with time. Just a little more. Suddenly, a number of ravens assaulted me all at once. I tried to evade them, but it was a fruitless effort as I could only step backwards. They became seemingly obsessed with pulling and prodding at my mother's pendant. This is a memento of my mother! You can't have it! Watch out, Emily! I'm surprised it was Watson. I thought that Holmes was gonna pull a I gotta rescue Emily even if it lets Lupin get away. Watson called out to me, but it was too late. An unpleasant floating sensation had overtaken me. My stomach lurched before I could comprehend why I felt such a way. In my attempts to escape the ravens, I had misplaced one of my feet, and just like that, I was being pulled backwards by gravity towards the great abyss below. I'm going to fall! I'm falling! I'm falling! He's a red flag, but red is my favorite color. So true.
Miss Homoerotic!
My mind went blank. Instinct was all that could save me, and I thrust my hands out to cling to the curtains, billowing in the wind beside me. Come on, Lupin. You gotta give back the pendant. Mademoiselle got in danger because of you. You can't be letting this happen as a gentleman thief, can you? Its fabric was the only thing that kept me alive. But humans were never made for this. I could feel my hands growing weak, my fingers growing stiff with pain. They were shaking with a severity that begged me to let go.
Miss Homoerotic!
Miss Wortley, I'm coming now. No, Holmes! Forget me! Focus on Lupin! But... Oh dear. Perhaps I thought too highly of you, Monsieur Holmes. There's no beauty in a gentleman who chooses victory over a lady in need. Kill them with kindness. Nah, raven attack! Besides, even a moment's hesitation can cost you everything. Like so. Lupin grasped my arm, pulled me back to safety, and captured me in his arms in one swift motion. If you want her back, you're gonna have to take our game more seriously. Come now. You're a man, aren't you? Wait! Yeah, knew he wouldn't actually let Emily get hurt. Yeah. That's a gentleman thief for you. Holmes, let me go, Lupin! It pains me so, but I must have you sleep now. My courageous princess. I can't do things. I was encompassed by a sense of floating once more, with this one being quite pleasant compared to the first time. I could hear Lupin's whisper close to my ear. A sharp odor not unlike alcohol perforated my nose. Chloroform? Hon nugget, Eiffel Tower. My courageous princess. The realization of what was happening dawned on me, but not before I had become quite weak. My consciousness was fading, and my vision was growing dark. This is pure epitome of how I thought a Sherlock-based, like, Otome game route would go. Lupin steals his girl. Sherlock has to solve... I know it's Herlock, but gotta solve the case and save the woman. No, I can't. I want to help Holmes. Not this again. My body refused to listen to me, of course. My eyelids were growing heavy. My cries never reached him. The Tower of London's highest floor after Lupin's departure was a sight to see.
Chloroform doesn't work like that.
What remained at the scene was a heavy snowfall of black feathers and the Queen of Clubs. Quiet had come, but in its place, a concentrated disquietude could be felt more strongly.
Honestly, yeah, at least they didn't waste that opportunity.
ルパンにお嬢様が盗まれるのはこれで
Pendleton?
2度目ですね。
That you, Pendleton? And so the gentleman thief has stolen her away for a second time. Pendleton, are you working with Lupin?
Pendleton hastily yet properly ascended the staircase so as not to look anxious, and upon his arrival to the scene, the first thing he did was pick up the card and admire both sides.
What are you doing here, Pendleton?
ホームズ君のことを気にされていたようなので。
Lady Whiteley had expressed a deep concern for Holmes earlier in the day, so I could not help but wonder if she may have come here. Oh, I see. I'm so sorry, sir. This shouldn't have happened.
ルパンはあのスペルバウン
Well,
ド
it
と
is
つなが
done.
りがある。
She is now in the clutches of someone tied to spellbound, and thus at the whim of a very dangerous man. Yeah, I guess Lupin is the villain of this route. He's our spellbound affiliated guy. I got up to eat a muffin. Why is...
ホームズ君、あなたはそれを自覚していますか？
Oh, I see. Emily was a dipshit again. Yeah, Lupin kidnapped her. You are aware of how serious this matter is, aren't you, Holmes?
おい、ホームズ。
Holmes, listen! The detective was petrified, fearing the circumstances and torturing himself with questions. He asked himself, how could I let this happen? And when he could not give an answer, it made the reality all the more fearsome to him.
ホームズ君。はい。
Yes.
歯を食いしばってください。
This will hurt. Oh shit! He's gonna beat up Holmes! Let's go! Fight! 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 Fight!
ペンデルトンさん。
A dry clap carried throughout the deathly silent room. Pendleton's palm made contact with Holmes's cheek. All he could do for a retort was give a piercing stare. Rest in peace, Holmes.
お嬢様にもしものことがあれば。
If something were to happen to her, do you understand what that would mean? I don't know why these two are fighting, but I'm here for the drama. I know. I know.
あなたのそのプライドは
Pride is an admirable quality, but that pride can bring about irreversible danger at times if mishandled. This is one of those times. I would have so much more free time. Eh?
お嬢様の熱意に負けて。確かに私も
Pendleton, you don't get paid enough for this shit. Yeah, Pendleton deserves a raise. I'll admit that I bear partial responsibility. Upon seeing how much she desired to help you, I conceded to her strength of will and permitted her to act. But I now wonder if I was mistaken in my leniency. I can see now that was a mistake, as always. Poor Pendleton. Pendleton's expression was calm, but his firmly clenched fists gave away that he was anything but. I want to root for Pendleton, not like a romance route. I want like a route like Marples and like Kobayashi's, but like a bit longer than Marples and Kobayashi's, because I'm curious about this dude. He's got some intrigue going on.
それを認めることも一つの勇気です。
Having awareness of your weaknesses, knowing the things you lack, and accepting it all as a form of courage. Pride is an admirable quality. No? You never saw Dragon Ball Z, Pendleton? Yeah, I have pride. Yet you doggedly work to keep every sign of weakness locked within. Weakness is a curse to you. You strive to never expose that side of you to anyone. A bit longer than Marple and Kobayashi's. Elio, do you realize how low that bar is? What misfortune that you haven't the gift for disguising your imperfections. I'm sorry you know that well. You're a weak bitch, Holmes.
こんなところで
Yeah, I'm surprised that Pendleton doesn't have his own platonic route. I think he deserves it after all he goes through. He deserves a route where Emily doesn't leave her house because she's satisfied being with her beautiful twink. If you have time to stay here lamenting your own powerlessness, should you not focus on what you can do to rescue her?
少なくともお嬢様はそういうお方です。自分の力不足を痛感してもすぐに立ち上がろうとなさいます。
At the very least, that is what she would do. No matter how powerless she feels, she stands on her feet and pushes on without fail. I wish you would stop pushing without fail. Please, fuck, stop leaving the house. His piece said, Pendleton handed the card to Holmes and retired.
ホームズ、お前ひどい顔してるな。
Holmes, your face looks awful. Yeah, I wonder why. I didn't get, like, attacked with a paralysis attack and then get beat the fuck up by Pendleton or anything.
もともとこういう顔だ。
This is how my face always looks. What?
お前さ、
It's not about time you face the truth.
そろそろ自覚したらどうなんだ。自分のこともわからないで何が探偵だ。
A detective who can't figure himself out is no detective at all.
そんなんだから彼女はあんなキザ野郎に簡単にさらわれるんだよ。
It's only because you're refusing that pretentious wait, am I reading this right? It's only because you're refusing that pretentious ass was able to make... Okay, okay, I'm reading this completely wrong. It's only because you're refusing that the pretentious... that pretentious ass was able to make off with her. God, I can't word things right. I know the intention of this sentence, but I can't say it properly. Holmes is really getting his shit rocked in this route, and not even in a sexy way. Yeah, that wasn't a great sentence. Yeah, I get the intention, but...
ああ、そうだな。
Yes, I suppose you're right.
ワトソン君。
ああ。
彼女を助けるために僕に。
Oh, whoops, I want to save her. Will you lend me a hand? That's a stupid question. What are assistants for?
Where am I?
Commas exist for a reason. Yeah. Please, use some commas. Indicate your pauses, please.
What happened to me? I remember being abducted by Lupin and then...
Okay, I think here is a pretty good place to pause for the day. I guess next time we'll resume with our distressed princess and see if she develops Stockholm syndrome. But yeah, that will be it for today, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Tomorrow we'll be doing some Leviathan and Limbus. So I will see y'all then. Let me check. I don't think we have any art. Yeah, no art for today. I don't need to develop Stockholm Syndrome to simp for Lupin. So true. Stockholm Syndrome? Thanks for the stream. Yee. Thank you guys for coming. Wait. Bitch. Huh? Why are you saying that? Did you send me something? Hold on. Why'd you say that? You sure? Oh, to bump the thread and make you look? Oi. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Wait. Then DMs? No. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make some art and I will post it later tonight because I have an edit that I need to make of Emily Whiteley right now. So I will see you guys at a later venture. Keep your eyes out for my edit.